gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko kissy love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko kissy love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder.
Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko catchy love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko catchy love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko squeeze the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko squeeze the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder.
Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko left the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko left the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko boy,
You better run.
Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come. Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko,
Police are come.
Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko,
Police are come.
Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko licky love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko licky love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder.
Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko kissy love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko kissy love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder. Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala, Allah, murder.
Hip hop, police are come and the gala, Allah, murder.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today I can't take it, so I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
All right, good night. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. We're going to rock and roll on 107.1 FM. Yes, and those who are in Guyana, some people have been calling me to say I should not be saying Guyana because I sound really funny. Well, that's okay. Even if I don't say Guyana, I still do sound funny, right? All right. I hope all of you are doing well. You've had a great day. And someone, look, there's Connie Alstrom there, and people just know how to just rile me up, right? And suddenly, because I am not entitled to be late, only you guys are entitled to tune in. One guy, just as we were about to get off last evening, about 10 o'clock, he pops in around 10 o'clock to say he now join us. What's the subject? I'm like, give me a break. And so I'm just a few minutes late, and Connie Alstrom is saying pay deduction of 8 minutes for lateness. All right, well, if that's what it is, it is. But Lemon lost his job for 2 weeks because of that. And if you guys want to deduct something from my salary, it's quite okay. It doesn't matter to me. I have oil money. It's like Jack Dio and Irfan. They have oil money. They get billions of dollars. They don't care. They do anything. And the sad thing is, majority of Guyanese sit down and allow them to do anything. Like that song, whoever it is that sang that song, "Do What You Want." So the Guyanese people, Connie Alstrom, good night to you, and good night to all of you out there. Um, Connie Alstrom, this is what. Majority of Guyanese sit back. They just, and this is not insulting those who sit back and basically allow the Pakus in the PPP to do what they want, right? But at some point in time, we should be able to say, and I want you to read my lips, we should be able to say, come a little closer, guys. I want to talk to you. And I'm coming a little closer. Yeah, there you guys get to see me. Yeah. At some point in time, we should be able to say, enough is enough. And we have gotten to that point in Guyana where the PPP regime believes that they can do anything. They can pick you up, they can heist you down, they can lash you down. And nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to, let me pull back for a moment. I didn't like how I do up myself there just now. No one wants to do anything. Now, this is not how I wanted to start the show. But because Connie Alstrom just telling me I'm late and deduction out of my salary and I do what I want, right? But let me ask you guys this question. And we're gonna take it to the audience. There is a song. You guys know this song. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and praise we give. And what do you have to do? For those of you who know this hymn, you've got to take it to the, let me see if you guys know. Take it to the Lord in praise. Yeah. Hallelujah. Take it to the Lord in prayers. But now, right now on 107.1 FM, I'm going to take this to the audience. I want to, for the next 5 minutes or so, as we take our time, the next 5 minutes, this is what I want you guys to do. And thank you. A lot of people, the minute y'all hear something biblical, the minute y'all hear whatever it is, y'all quick to say amen, hallelujah, right? Selwyn Peters? Good. I like calling her name Selwyn Peters. Sometimes Selwyn get y'all vexed. Selwyn look like he running there to collect a little position, and then he run back. And then Selwyn was the other day at the PPP's Congress. I don't know what Selwyn was doing there, but he was there. And Selwyn is in the audience here now. Selwyn is at Bamba Mali. Selwyn is all over. But I was wondering, what the... sorry, I don't know if my internet wasn't paid or my neighbor cut off the Wi-Fi. But let me ask this question. What was Selwyn Peters doing at the PPP's Congress that was actually fixed? That Congress was fixed in favor of Jagdeo and his men. I really do mean it, because look around. Ask yourself this question before we go to the poll. Ask yourselves this question. How many of you know who Zulfikar Mustafa And just like that, I get knocked off. Knocked off just like that. We're trying a new system, by the way. Y'all know I put in the upper lock. We ain't trying no new system. There's knock off again, knock off. The internet might be weak. Gotta pay up some bills, right? But let me ask you guys this. Put aside Selwyn Peters. I've known Selwyn many years now. Sometimes I like his views, sometimes I don't like his views. Sometimes I talk with him, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I block him, and it is what it is. But what the heck was Selwyn Peters doing at the PPP's Congress? But anyways, let me ask you guys this. How many of you guys, Asha S, I don't know what the S stands for, Zulfikar Mustafa. Zulfikar Mustafa is the third most powerful Paku in the PPP. I repeat, Zulfikar Mustafa is the third most powerful Paku in the PPP. Zulfikar Mustafa is the Minister of Agriculture. Are you ever hear he talk? He's from Bloomfield Village and thing on the quarantine. And Bloomfield is next to Letterkenny, Wim, and them areas there, right? I have a lot of good friends in Letterkenny, Bloomfield, and so forth, but not Mustafa. Mustafa, how many people know Mustafa? How many of y'all know Mustafa? Zulfikar Mustafa. He is the Minister of Agriculture. If I have my way right now, I will not shake the bowl that I have. I will put Mustafa to take a lie detector test. And the first question I'll ask Mustafa, if he knows anything about smuggling smuggled chicken. Now, I'm not accusing him that he or his friends or any members of his family are in the business of smuggling chicken. I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm just asking a question. And I'll put him on that lie detector test, that polygraph test. I want him to take that. And what do you guys think that polygraph machine is going to do when the question pops up? Zulfikar Mustafa, have you ever been in the business while being Minister of Agriculture? Have you ever been in the business of smuggling chicken? Or do you know any family member or anyone who is smuggling chicken? No, I'm not saying that he's smuggling chicken. I'm not saying that he's into any questionable business. I am not saying that at all. I'm just asking a question. And I'm just saying that if there were to be a lie detector test for all the ministers, the first one that I will target is Mustafa. Now, I noticed Selwyn Peters. Here was Selwyn. Selwyn get his friends them thereby. Selwyn says Zulfi. Now, everything is coming to light. Yaga. He is supposed to be a lawyer, and he's allowing me, who is not done with law school, who went to the Cam Street Law School. Look how we get trapped. How many of you, come on, you know I love to go to the audience. Selwyn Peters got trapped, right? Selwyn Peters got trapped. Selwyn left all the way from Canada, whether invited or not, and we got to talk. Selwyn Peters left all the way from Canada, booked a ticket for $644.95. Booked tickets, his ticket. Went down there, went down all the way down. He went down there to Guyana to attend the PPP Congress. Probably the most corrupt PPP Congress in the history of PPP Congress. Selwyn Peters was right there taking selfie. Let us showing up. Go Selwyn. And now Selwyn is on the show in the audience there addressing Zulfikar Mustafa as Zulfi. Zulfi? Okay. Zulfi. Right, Selwyn? So Selwyn is saying Zulfi is one of the most popular executives of the PPP. But it is not the executives who vote for them to be executives. It's the membership of the PPPC. And I am telling you this, Selwyn Augusta, whatever your middle name is, Peters, that Zulfikar Mustafa is not the third most popular thing in the PPP. I am telling you this, Selwyn Peters. Since you call Zulfikar Zulfi, can I call you Sally? Sally, I am telling you this, that Zulfikar Mustafa is not the most or the third most popular person in the PPP. Stop it, man. Stop it, Sally. Sally, stop it. Anyways, what else is going on? Oh, if y'all want, we do something for y'all on Straight Up. Y'all don't wait until we there on Straight Up. If you send the message to us, send it to us early o'clock so we could promote whatever you're asking us to promote. Properly, as Sharma would say, properly. All right, so let's get back to this whole thing about protest. How many of you guys in street protest? That's all. How many of you guys believe in street protest? Let me ask Sally Peters. Protest. Do you guys believe in street protest? Well, let's prepare to have, I was going to say Sally, but it's not Sally we have. Since Selwyn Peters is addressing Zulfikar Mustafa as Zulfi, we Wayne Caesar as Wayne. Oh, Wayne.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening to all the listeners and viewers. Good night. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Now, a lot of people, I don't know, I notice Rhonda Lane is saying happy birthday. I don't know who Wanda is saying happy birthday to, but whoever it is, happy birthday. Rhonda, they have a protest 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in front of Stabrook News. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. All you nice people on the ground who believe in protest, y'all have an opportunity once y'all in Georgetown. Once you guys are in Georgetown, to head down there tomorrow. This is a racist cartoon. First of all, by welcoming Mr. Wayne Caesar. Wayne, what is your take, sir, on this?
Well, Mark, my take, it's this is not the first time I've seen this. It's just a typical stereotype against the Afro-Guyanese, against Afro people in general. That is how a lot of people tend to look at us, you know. But we're not the National Rifle Association. We're not these associations that put all the guns on the streets. But, you know, to put up a picture depicting an Afro-Guyanese with a gun in his hands and saying that's the future of Guyana, I don't think that that's a fair assertion. I think, you know, if you're going to do that, then you need to put a picture next to that depicting the PPPC government, because for the most part, it's governments that fails people. Yes, you can blame people partially for some of their failures, but from what I'm seeing in Guyana, the government is failing the people miserably.
Absolutely, that goes without saying. The corrupt PPP regime is failing the people miserably indeed. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Wayne Caesar. But let me ask some of you guys, especially I want to ask Selwyn Peters if he's still in the audience. What is your take, Selwyn, on this cartoon, this racist cartoon? Come on, Sally. Sally, are you there? Come on, tell us. What is your take on this cartoon, this racist cartoon? And if you're in Guyana right now, just like you said, the PPP invited you, I'm invited in front of Stabrook News on Sally. tomorrow. Mr. Caesar, what is your take on, or what is your position on street protests? Do you think it is effective or non-effective?
Market depends on how it's planned. There must be a strategy to this, to protest, right? And yes, protest is needed. It's necessary, especially when you're dealing with an oppressive regime. How can you, government, if you do not take to the streets? People have been speaking over and over about the atrocities that the PPP continues to commit against the people of Guyana. And you've seen no move by the install regime to, pivot and change their approach towards the normal everyday Guyanese. So, and Mark, I don't believe in just taking to the, at this moment, if you're going to take to the streets, you take to the streets and you shut the country down. It's not about taking to the streets, in little factions and you out there. No. Come on. It's an unfair deal to the Guyanese people. Okay? What I'm seeing right now, the read that I'm getting right now, Mark, and if you allow me the latitude here, Barajagio is a weapon that is being used in Guyana to oppress the people so that everybody can come into the country and take whatever they want. The people of Guyana really need to step up and stand up for their country. Okay? That is what's happening. The same people that came in and installed the PPPC into power in elections. So that's something that we need to reverse in Guyana. Elections in Guyana need to be decided by the people of Guyana. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so back to protest, because you went off to elections and back to protest, legitimate protest, whether it is peaceful, because you don't call a protest and say, everybody wants peaceful protest, but I'm not sure if you're aware that the PPP plant provocateurs in those protests to disrupt situations so that the organizers of the protesters will look bad. At what point in time should people head out there to protest? That's my question. Protest. I noticed Herney Park. Herney Park, good night, Herney, has always been out there, always ready to protest with the sugar workers. And Herney would tell you straight up, a lot of people think that cane cutters, as we would say, we know it as cane cutters, that cane cutters is only one ethnic group. No, they get a lot of African Guyanese who are cutting cane on the quarantine and other places. So cane cutters are also African brothers who are cutting cane as well, not just our Indian brothers. Ernie is a typical example. I know Ernie since he was a little boy. Now he's a big man. He's representing sugar workers on the quarantine and by extension throughout the country. And I say salute to you. Ernie Park, of course, he's an executive within GAU, but he's a representative of GAU. He's also a sugar worker, a cane cutter, and a proud cane cutter, an educated cane cutter. Salute to you, Ernie Park. You got to come back on the show sometime. But back to protest again, Mr. Caesar. Why do you suppose we are hardly seeing street protest in Guyana?
Because, Mark, the government has instilled that fear in the people. We have to remember that not too long ago, you was having extrajudicial killings after extrajudicial killings in Guyana. The Guyanese people have not forgotten that. They have not recovered from that. That fear still lingers, Mark. So it's very, very difficult to get the people to come to the streets. And then also, you have to think about how this install regime works. You go to the street, you have a government that job is definitely at risk. People still
You
have
know,
to
that's the
feed
fear factor
their
people want to
children.
keep hammering, Mr.
So
Caesar.
when I
Oh,
look
you have
at
a job. No, 1 second, please. It's the fear factor, and we are feeding into that. I
yeah,
refuse to feed into that fear factor. These things happen all over the world with oppressors. Sometimes people have to make sacrifices. Don't you think we here coming on these shows making sacrifices? Do you think, I mean, does it always have to be, oh, we're not going to go out because of extrajudicial killing? To hell with the government. To hell with how they care. And we can't just keep feeding into, oh, if we go out, this is what gonna happen, this is what gonna happen. Go ahead, man. I lean back. Let me
okay.
get my tissue whilst you cry and complain about
All
what
right.
happened.
So
Go ahead,
Mark, I just got a question posed by Francine Cruz, also Mr. Caesar. What's the solution? Well, the solution is that if you're gonna come out, Mark, you can't come out 13 and 14. Okay, it has to be a collective exercise. Okay, you own your sand trucks, you own your minibus, you own your motor cars, you go and you park them in the highways. You come out with the wake pots and the wedding pots, and you cook in the streets, you do everything there. People got to understand that the first few houses away from the homes, from the road, is for people to use the bathroom or whatever it is. You stay out there, Mark. You stop the movement of everything, whether it's oil tankers, commerce on the whole. Shut the whole thing down. If you're gonna do it and you want to be
have
effective,
you
if you
have you protested before?
if I've protested before, yes, I have. I have protested before. I've done it in school.
Where?
I've done it at college. Yes. Yes. We had a protest. Yes.
You're right.
But I haven't
You
really
don't
I haven't
protest
really
until you hit the streets. Hardcore protest.
no, Mark,
Ahead,
in growing up and where I grew up, and you know, being out there in the streets of East Flatbush, I am fearless. I would go there with anybody. You
Where?
know, the people of Guyana, Mark, Mark. The people of Guyana, they gotta take a stance, right? What they have done, they have allowed the PPPC over the years to overwhelm them. That even if Mark, let me finish. That even if somebody like me wants to travel to Guyana to stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters, you understand me? You could have the police force that you pay taxes for. You could have elements in the police force that would come up looking to arrest me or looking to take me somewhere to execute me or whatever the case is. People can't come and help you if you're not creating situations for people to come and help
in a struggle. What's wrong with getting a couple of handcuffs and shackles and thing and lockups and jail?
Mark, I have no problem with that. I have absolutely don't worry with this thing with financial accounting and having degrees and all of this stuff. You know, I have no problem with that. Like I said before, I'm from the streets of Flatbush. You never change from who you are. It doesn't matter how many accolades you get. I just want to make that clear. I just go and I just walk down the streets in Brooklyn. Totally. No, let me finish. Mark, let me finish here.
Mr. Caesar, don't bluff anybody tonight. Flatbush gets soft now, but continue.
Don't say that. Don't say, Mark, I go and I walk in the streets by myself all the time. It's there to fear. You have one life. There's nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. But what I know for sure is that I'm not stooping to no man. I'm not allowing any man to dictate terms to me. I'm not. I'm never going to allow anybody to walk on my property and come and dictate terms to me. No, I know my rights. And the Guyanese people have their rights. Right? Mark, the people just haven't taken a stand. You have these police officers and these security people who secure the president and whomever does want to bully people and these kind of things, well, they have families too. They have families too. Until people start looking at things an eye for an eye, things will never change. They will always be bullied. Mark, I don't know about being bullied in my life. It has never happened. Because I'm not a stickler for that type of stuff. I think everybody have a right to represent themselves. I think everybody have a right to live in peace. I don't think that people, Mark, should be controlled. I don't believe that that should be the case. And that is what's happening. The PPPC and Irfan Ali and Jagdio, they want when they walk into a black community, the people must just fall to their knees. And it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And they're being well supported. They are being supported. I don't care how people want to look at it. I know what I'm seeing, Mark.
What are you seeing?
What I'm seeing, Mark, is that the people, the external, not just the investors, but the ABC countries, all of these people who came in and mingled in our elections, they knew what they wanted. They knew of the deals that was cut. You're talking about extradition treaties and all these type of things. Mark, you cannot extradite anybody from Guyana. I disagree with anybody from Guyana getting extradited without Barry Jagdio being the first person on the list. I disagree with that. And if that ever happens, it paints the picture of exactly what is happening. He is a divisive unit that is being used to divide the Guyanese people. It is called divide and conquer. While the focus is on him, the oil patrimony is being fetched out of the country. The intention is to pay a few, is for a few to get rich while the resources is taken out of the country and for the masses to remain poor. That's why these poor countries, even if they have oil and these type of resources, when the people come and tear the country apart and they leave, the country is left economically suppressed. The people are left 10 times poorer than they were before that resource. Mark, these type of trends got to stop. Okay, we are all human beings. We were all born equal. We're not blind. We're not sitting here and not seeing what is happening. It's right before our eyes, man. This has got to stop. Mark, have we not yet opened our eyes and see that no electoral reform or nothing was done at GCOM? Everything is just quiet. Nothing is being done. Where is the free and fair elections that coming up in 2025? The PPP was able to rig an election being out of power. They are in power now. Who is beating them? The elections is already set. That needs to change. People need to be called out for exactly who they are. It doesn't matter if it's a big economy or one of the larger, richer nations. They need to be called out. These are the people who just go and try to set war laws. These are the nations that just look at other nations with people who are trying to fight back and call them terrorists. Is it that those people are terrorists? Or is it that the people who are crying foul are the ones who are the terrorists? We need to start looking at things black and white, man. We need to start playing pit and pat. It's a fight in the ring. Let it be a fight. Let's speak to how we feel. The Guyanese people are being oppressed. This picture up here is a racist picture. That is what exists in Guyana. That is what this here is what Barry Jagdeo is all about. This is Barry Jagdeo thinking of a black man. So the ones who are around him providing security and all these type of things, you guys need to wake up. The only good a black man serve is when he has a gun in his hand, being their security, or being a part of the Guyana Defense Force. That's the only time he's good. He's not good for anything else. A government with too many Afro-Guyanese people are not good. They're not seen as good in Guyana, nor to the international community. I'm saying this. I'm saying this because this is what I'm seeing. I speak to what I see.
All right, if you're now joining us, with me tonight is Wayne Caesar. Wayne, what is your take on the breaking up of people's homes there at Success?
Mark, it's typical. Unless the people in Guyana rise up and decide that they're going to break down somebody's important house right back to the until people come together, the masses come together and decide that this needs to stop. We are showing up in the village that the houses are going to be broken down and we're going to stop it. It needs to stop. Now, Mark, where are these people supposed to go? What contingency plans was put in place for them? Where are they supposed to go? You see, in other countries, Mark, these are the type of things that makes people become very radical and do very, very bad things. The Guyanese people have been holding their tongue. They have been keeping it together. I am saying this, Mark, because to the extent people start to react, there's nobody sending down no troops or anybody to say that they're shooting up people. It's just not going to happen. I'm saying this same small country, Guyana, is going to expose some of these larger countries and show the world exactly who they are. Because these things are occurring in Guyana and nobody's saying nothing. Everybody's mum and silent. Because what? It is probably happening to the people that they want it to happen to. The poor Afro-Guyanese people. I'm not saying there's not other races that are sprinkled in there. But this shouldn't happen. Where are these people to live? A lot of these people have children, Mark. School children. What are they to do? It just shows you if people have to live like this. With this picture that's depicted here. If people have to live this way, it just shows you how the government has failed the people of Guyana. The PPPC had 23 straight years. Why is the housing situation not in Guyana? Why is the housing situation in Guyana not better?
You know,
and why should the country continue to persist with Barry Jagdeo?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wayne Caesar, getting very passionate there. And we can understand that if you have just joined us. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up on 107.1 FM. The issue is protest and street protest. And it doesn't mean when you say street protest, it's about blocking up or some kind of bacchanal, as how the PPPC usually do their stuff. They protest and they block up things. We saw some very, very vicious individuals at Bat Village of Bat Settlement there. We saw what happened at Albion on the quarantine, and I supported that protest back in 2001, 2002 at Albion Village on the quarantine, when those protesters almost burnt a magistrate's court down, burnt the police station down, beat a magistrate, throw his car in the trench. Okay. And Ronald Gadraj, who was then the Minister of Home Affairs, he was almost beaten too. And that was done by mainly PPP supporters. Last night, Dr. David Hines on his show, Politics 101, said that our East Indian brothers and sisters have a different way of protesting. I beg to disagree with that, because when they hit the streets, they really do hit the streets. And so street protest is not a bad thing. Again, I repeat, street protest is not a bad thing, and there should be no political leader should talk about it being bad. And what I detest also is folks trying to find all sort of excuses why people shouldn't protest. They're gonna lose their job, they're gonna get locked up, they're gonna go to jail, they might get killed. All of that is in a struggle. And there are times when sacrifices have to be made. And you cannot want to be a political leader or leaders or representatives of the people, but are afraid. You are afraid to make decisions on behalf of the people. You got to be prepared to be locked up. You got to be prepared to get some lashes and so forth. Now, on this racist cartoon, Mr. Caesar, on this racist cartoon, a lot of people in the United States of America are upset, very upset. In fact, I got one message here from a gentleman who's saying that his 22-year-old son saw this cartoon last night and immediately confirmed that it is extremely racist and would have created a complete ruckus in the United States of America. In the United States of America. And this is a young man who's graduating with his undergraduate degree. And congratulations to Renee, congratulations to your son. And people all across the world, once they see this cartoon, Mr. Caesar, they will begin to rile up because this is a total disrespect. I don't think I asked you about this. What is your take? None of them from Pleasance there, right?
No, but I did speak on this, Mark, on another program. I did
What
speak
about
on it.
you did. Look at the short one. Short one look like he enjoying it more than all of them there. But
And
total disrespect, though, to the military officers and the entire Guyana defense force, huh?
Mark, it's total disrespect, yes, because it's the person that holds the highest position in the land. And as a normal GDF officer, you know, if this is what's going to happen, you just got to let it be. You can't stand up and say, oh, no, you're not putting that in my mouth with your bare hands, right? We know that people's hands, although you wash your hands, there's still germs there. Okay, and like I would have said before, you don't know where his hands was, you don't know how low his fingernails is, you don't know what fecal matter might be under his fingernails, but his hands is going into someone else's mouth. That is very, very unhealthy and dangerous. Right? But like I said before, the PPPC does things how they do things, and that's just the way it is. But Mark, on a side note here, I just want to respond here to Brother George Tanner. I'm seeing him saying, seriously, Wayne, were you in Guyana during time 3 when young black men were hunted and killed extrajudicially? Well, my response to Brother George Tanner, I was not in Guyana at the time, but I am fully aware. I speak about that over and over on all the programs that I'm on. I even invoke the names of many. You know, I've called for justice for those people that were killed. I know that these men that were murdered, they have mothers. Okay, we all would have came at some point from a mother, right? And those women are hurting and there needs to be justice. But of course, nothing is being done. We see who've been in power for the 23 years and who is back in power now. So it just shows you how things are working. It's not fair across the board. You know, a brother like Courtney Crumb Ewing would have been so effective day like today. But look what has happened to him. Look how he's met his demise. And these are the kind of things, Mark, we need to work towards stopping.
Thank you. Certainly not fair at all. So many people have lost their lives. So many young men, most of them are men of African descent. They've lost their lives extrajudicially. No justice, nothing at all. But they got some folks have been saying on some other programs that protest and why that people are afraid. You know, I recall this was a protest right there. I'm not sure if anybody recognized anyone here, but this was a protest back in 2001 in front of Providence police station, somewhere around there. And this was that guy with the bullhorn and the suspenders and so forth, um, and just a handful of people. We were able to shut the entire East Bank, shut the entire East Bank down for about 5 hours, shut it down completely, all because of minibus operators. They felt that the PPP wanted to raise the whatever it is, or something to do with them and their fees, and then there were other issues, and so nobody was afraid to shut the country down, to shut the entire Georgetown down. And I'm not proud to say that we were able to shut people missed their flights and all manner of things. That is what protests do. You know what happened after that? Couple charges for me. I was placed under house arrest for the entire weekend. And as soon as Monday morning, I was arrested, taken to Providence Police Station, and they begged the magistrate, now a former magistrate, Don Holder Cush. They begged her, they pleaded with her to send me to Camp Street, but she refused. So those are sacrifices that you have to make. You can't say they're going to lock you up or be afraid. You can't be afraid to say they're going to kill you or you're going to lose your job and all manner of things. You have to take these chances. You've got to be, especially if you are political leaders. You cannot be afraid. You cannot instill fear on your supporters. It just cannot happen. And, while it's just not about, let me just, these are sacrifices that have to be made. And many of you might see me on this show and say, hey, Ben Shop only talking because he did in America, he come back Guyana. No, these were crucial times. Look at me sitting there all happy at the back of that police van with, those guys, black clothes guys or TSU guys. And look at me sitting there. You think they were taking me to Parliament? Do you think I was doing this because I didn't get no food at night to eat and I get vexed? No. It was standing up for the rights of the people. And you got to do that. You can't just say protesting is bad and you're going to get locked up and you're going to this and you're going to that. No, look at me. All in my nice tie, heading off to Brickdam lockup to spend a 72 hours right there. 72 hours they're taking me and I'm all happy about it. I'm smiling. That's what a struggle. This is no mocker or anything. That is what a struggle is all about. You've got to protest. I recall back early days, people were crying that the Borbis River Bridge, the fees too much. Nobody wanted to bail the cat. Nobody wanted to bail the cat. No one wanted to bail the cat. They were afraid. And so one day, look, all the way from Georgetown, I went straight to Borbis River Bridge, put up this here, and I blocked the bridge. I shut down traffic for 4 or 5 hours, miles upon miles. Why? Because a decision had to have been made. Someone had to bail the cat. And right after that, all the prices were reduced. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Look at this, another protest with this old woman. She's now deceased. I can't recall her name, but she is a long-serving member of the PNC protesting. The point that I'm making is protest is important. You can never shut protest out. You should never give excuses upon excuses why you can't protest. Why you can't protest. This was in front of the Laripentere Cemetery. They called it under the PPP Mandela Dump Site. Mandela Dump Site. After Nelson Mandela, they call it a dump site. And you know what? Every single day, some of you who are from Georgetown area, and know that particular area called Cemetery Road. Every single day, morning, noon, and night, you pass Cemetery Road, you had to cover your nose or wind your car windows up. If there's a loved one that passed away, you couldn't go there. You couldn't go to bury your loved ones there at all. But nobody wanted to bell the cat. Absolutely no one wanted to bell the cat. No one, none, nobody. But look, Freddie Kissoon, Christopher Ramel, Freddie Kissoon gone drinking soup now. He drinking soup now. But we were there. We belled the cat. We protested. Freddie and I were locked up for 3 nights, even though he cried like a baby and all sort of things. It's a different story. But we were there protesting. Anytime there's a protest, guess what? I'm there. I'm addicted to it. Yes, I'm addicted to it. Protest. One man alone. Oh, gosh. It brings back memories, Mr. Caesar, to bring home the point that protest is important. We've got to have protest. We must never shy away from protest. We must never be afraid of being locked up, because for me, after a while, it became immune. I ain't got time. I go in the corner, lie down on the cold concrete. Those are the sacrifices that people have to be able to make. Sometimes you might get your death threats, lots of death threats. You might get some gun butts. You might get shot at. All manner of things. And some of the brothers have died in the struggle. That is what it is all about. We cannot tell people they're going to lose their job or this going to happen. What do you think you're doing to your supporters? You're driving fear into them. Mr. Caesar, I've had enough. What's your take on this here, sir? Unless you want to say something else about the protest while we move on to this here, because I'd want us to wrap things up. Burke is on tonight with Gary Best, former Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force. Over to you, Mr. Caesar.
Mark, all I'm going to say to what you have up on screen right now is that, and two, today, education in Guyana, it's in the Constitution, should be free to tertiary. Again, the PPPC, they like to dictate the terms. They tell you what to do. And this is what's going to continue to happen to the Guyanese people until they stand up and reject such utterances. Right? The PPPC is going to continue to dictate terms. There's no need for a write-off, Mark. Education should be free all across Guyana. It's an oil-producing nation now. There's no need for normal born and bred Guyanese to have to pay for an education, whether it's high school, nursery, or university level. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Wayne Caesar there. And I'm reading some of the comments. Appreciate it. Hey, guys, we cannot give up on protest. We cannot. Street protests are important, and there's no excuse not to have it. None whatsoever. Absolutely none. Wayne, you have your program Saturday, 7 o'clock. Over to you. It's going to be interesting. You guys got to tune in. It's getting more and more popular. But folks, those in Georgetown, don't forget, tomorrow, this protest there. Folks from Pleasance, wherever you are, go down in front of Stabrook News, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in front of the Stabrook News. Wayne, I know we had so much more we want to talk about, but we'll see what tomorrow is like, and you can be back in preparation for your show on Saturday. I'm not sure who will be my guest tomorrow, but we want to continue on the protests. We want to continue on so many other things. But let me just say this to the leadership of the PNCR. Protest is important. I've noticed that there's a news item about the PNC Congress sometime late June. You're not surprised at that, Mr. Caesar, quickly before we go?
Well, Mark, actually, I'm very happy that it's late June rather than towards the end of August, because I think that once a leader is election prep mode, and they would only have approximately just over a year to prepare for that. But in closing, Mark, I want to say this. There would not be a change of government in Guyana unless there is some measure of protest, because we are seeing that the Guyana Election Commission is not moving towards a new voters list. We're not hearing anything about biometrics. These are issues that should bring every Guyanese to the street, because it impairs their ability to have free and fair elections in the country. Thank you so much for having me, Mark, and good night to everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wayne Caesar. Appreciate your time. I notice that Thomasine Robertson is saying, Mark, did you call on the opposition leader then to lead or join you? Look, I am one of them who believe, Miss Thomasine Robertson. I do not believe I'm an activist. And if something has to be done, I am out there, whether an opposition leader or members of parliament, whether they're out there or not, I am out there, whether it is one man alone. I am out there. I am not too bothered. If others want to join, so be it. But I am going to be out there. And I get your message. I'm not going to sit and wait for an opposition leader to go out before I go out, or members of parliament to go out before I. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut out my own placards and I'm going to be out there. That is me. I'm an activist. That's what activists, real activists, that's what we do. We don't sit and wait for people. We go out and we get things done. But I got your message. I get your message. Loud and clear. Thank you so much, Mr. Wayne Caesar. Appreciate your time as always. And to all of our listeners, thank you all so much as well. Hope to see you guys tomorrow right here on 107.1 FM. You can head on over to Burke talking a little bit with Dr. Gary Best. They're talking about the Venezuelan troops at the Guyana border, and I presume other stuff they will be talking about. Wayne, head on over, let me hear what Burke is going to be saying, and if the first 5 minutes we can't make it, we just play dominoes. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. And to all of you beautiful people out there, thank you all so much as well. It's just me being a bit mischievous. Ernie Park, we got to talk, my friend. And to all of you, God bless you all. Here's what I wanted to show, in solidarity with the people of Linden. We'll just leave with this, maybe a quick minute. And our condolences to those, I think 6 persons lost their lives. They had a candlelight vigil out there in Linden this evening, earlier. And let us just show our respects and solidarity with those people as they mourn the entire Region 10. We're with you guys. We are with you.
Is there to prove my Savior lives, because he lives, I can face tomorrow, because he lives, all my fears are gone, because I know. He knows the future, and life is worth a living just because he lives.
All right, thank you, my sister. Because he lives, we can face tomorrow. On Monday the 13th, Kokwani was dark. And so tonight, we're going to light our candle, we're going to put it in the air. Let us light up Kokwani tonight as we march onwards to this vigil. Our sister will start the next song.
You don't have.
There is a candle. Tell him move up.
Every soul.
Mark said he did like both. He said slow. Tell it slow then.
Play that slow. Fire.
Break the fire. Ignite the candle. And break free. Carry your candle. Run through the darkness. Seek out the hopeless. Confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle. Go light your world. Take your candle. Go light your world. Frustrated brothers. See how it's right to light this old candle some other way.
See our sister. She's been loved and lied to. There was a candle without a flame. Carry the candle.
Carry your candle. Run through the darkness. Seek out the hopeless. Confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle. Go light your world. Take your candle. Go light your world.
Carry your candle.
Carry your candle. Run through the darkness. Seek out the hopeless. Confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle. Go light your world. Take your candle. Go light your world.
There is a candle.
See burning.
Some dark
And cold.
there is a spirit who breaks the fire.
Ignite the candle
And make it fall.